You did it to their face. It was honor, respect. These geeks hiding behind their computers, what a bunch of spineless losers.
The TV show sequel to the infamous Karate Kids movie, Cobra Kai, has taken the world by storm, leaving fans amazed by the martial arts and engaging storyline. But have you ever wondered what the show would have been like if different actors had actually gotten the roles of your favorite characters instead? In today's video, we'll be talking about Cobra Kai, actors who were almost not cast in the show. Whether they had a tough audition or initially weren't interested, we'll be talking about their different audition processes and how many of them could not be cast at all. If you're interested in content like this, keep watching. Before we begin, if you enjoy videos like this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to turn on post notifications so you never miss out on another video. Alright, let's get into it. Number 1. Jacob Bertrand. Bertrand, who plays Hawk on Cobra Kai, appeared to have a pretty tough and stressful audition that left him wondering if he would even be considered for the role. Of course, now we can't imagine anyone else playing Hawk, but what if someone else did? Before his audition, Bertrand was actually given an old version of the script, which has since been changed. He spent hours practicing on the old script, memorizing his lines and preparing for the role. But when he got on stage to audition for the role, directors told him to get off stage because it was an old script. They gave him a newer version of the script and only 10 minutes to prepare for the role. That sounds stressful. However, it all seemed to work out. He went back in and read his lines and ended up getting the role of Hawk less than 24 hours after the audition. So even the directors knew he was perfect for it, and they didn't need to see anyone else. It also became a huge bonus because after he was cast for the role, they found out he was already good at karate. It was a win-win situation casting Bertrand. Number 2. Tanner Buchanan. Buchanan plays Robert Keane in Cobra Kai and plays the role so well, it's difficult to imagine anyone else in it. In fact, Buchanan ended up working super hard to get this role, and it proved to be quite stressful for him. He actually needed to prepare really hard for the role, but didn't have a lot of time to read the script because he was actually working on the set of another movie, Designated Survivor, at the time. He spent so much time on the set of that movie and was super busy, but really wanted to audition for Cobra Kai, so he put a lot of extra hours and hard work to prepare with any free time he had. He ended up auditioning for the show and landed the role quickly after, and also spent the next 8 months training in karate for it, all while still working on the other movie. His perseverance landed in the role and proved that he was more than dedicated, and he managed to do all this hard work at just 19 years old. We can definitely see him landing more huge roles in the future based on his work ethic. Number 3. Peyton List. Many of you Disney fans will remember Peyton List as she started out on Disney, specifically in the show Jessie with Debbie Ryan, and her work on Disney is what eventually led to her stardom. List was definitely one of the most experienced actors from her previous roles, and she didn't have a lot of time to prepare for either because she was busy with other roles in TV shows and movies as well as other auditions. In fact, she hardly even prepared for the night before her audition because she was at an after party for her friend's movie premiere. She stayed up super late but still made it to the audition the next morning and absolutely nailed it because the directors cast her really soon after. They just decided they found Tori already and didn't need to look any further. I bet we're all glad she nailed the audition. Speaking of nailing the audition, number 4. Mary Mauser. Who would have thought Samantha LaRusso almost didn't get the audition? Mauser plays this iconic role, but did you know she actually overslept for the audition and didn't end up making it the first time? Mauser hardly knew anything about the show and didn't really think it was a big deal, and it was actually her boyfriend who convinced her to call her agent and apologize and try to get a new audition as soon as possible. According to Mauser, he asked her if she had any auditions that morning, and she told him that she did have one for a show called Cobra Kai, and he freaked out when he realized what she was up for and told her she had to call her agent immediately and reschedule an audition. She ended up calling her agent and luckily getting an audition as nobody else was auditioning at that time, which really helped, and the rest is history. She nailed the audition and got the role of Samantha and is now the character that we know and love. Hopefully this will teach her a lesson not to oversleep as well. Number 5. Mary Mauser wasn't a Karate Kid fan. Even though Mauser had a somewhat rocky audition process, she nailed it and ended up getting the role of Samantha LaRusso, and when she got the role, she was actually called up by Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid himself. He welcomed her to the Cobra Kai family and said he was super excited to start working with her. However, we're not entirely convinced that she knew who he was and what a big deal this was. She mentions in an interview with Peyton List that it was once again for her boyfriend, who told her how big the show could be because it was a sequel to The Karate Kid. But she never really watched the movies when she was younger and hardly even knew what they were about. Her boyfriend urged her to watch the films, but she said she didn't want to watch them and hype herself up if she was going to get the role, because that would just be disappointing for her. So she said she'd wait. Since she did get the role, hopefully she's watched all the films and became a converted fan, as she's continuing the story herself. We know her boyfriend is definitely a fan of the movies, as, well, he was the one pushing her in the first place. Number 6, Zolo Mariduena. Mariduena plays Miguel Diaz in Cobra Kai and is undoubtedly one of the most popular characters of the show. But did you know that, like Mauser, he wasn't actually a fan of Karate Kid before auditioning for the show either? He claimed that he did watch the Karate Kid movies when he was younger, but he was so young that he didn't really remember them and haven't watched them since. However, all that changed when he decided to audition for Cobra Kai, and he actually showed his mom his audition video and told her he hardly remembered the moves, and she was shocked at her son for not knowing enough about the films because she was a huge fan. So she told him he had to know more about the iconic movie series and watched it again, and shortly after, he ended up watching the movies and getting more into it. We're not sure if he watched them before or after spending his audition tape, but oh well, he's watched them now and that's all that matters. Number 7, Courtney Hangluger. Hangluger is known as LaRusso's sweetheart in the show and is loved by all fans. But if you're a true Karate Kid fan, you'll know that she was not originally part of the 80s movie series. In fact, LaRusso was actually in love with a girl called Allie Mills, portrayed by Elizabeth Shue in the original films. However, her character was replaced by Hangluger in the series, but Shue did make a comeback in season 3 for all the OG fans to see. Hangluger actually reveals that she was super excited and surprised that Shue would be coming on the set and that she would finally get to meet her, and when the creators invited Shue, she was excited to meet Hangluger as well. In fact, Hangluger even brought her husband to meet Shue because the two were such big fans of the original series. Although it would have been fun to see Shue in more episodes, we're still super glad that Hangluger was cast in the show, as it would have been the same without her. And in season 3, we got to see both Shue and Hangluger on the screen, so it's best of both worlds. Number 8, William Zabka. Imagine Cobra Kai without its iconic anti-hero. Zabka is a huge part of the show and it definitely wouldn't be the same without him. But did you know that when he first heard about the show, he was actually pretty overwhelmed and needed a little time to think? He was approached by 3 different creators of the show who emailed him, and he was then invited to a lunch meeting. Zabka said that it was an overload of information and described the meeting as 3-headed dragons spitting loads of different ideas, and it was so much information that his mind couldn't digest quickly enough. There were so many ideas, and it was obviously very positive that they wanted Zabka to be part of the project, but it was almost too much information for him. Luckily, he was stoked about the ideas after thinking about them and joined the show, and the rest is history. Although this worked out great, the creators did have one pretty important person to convince. Number 9, Ralph Macchio. Nobody wants a sequel to The Karate Kid without the original Karate Kid himself, Ralph Macchio. But did you know that it took a bit of convincing to get him on board with the whole idea? Creators approached Macchio super carefully, knowing that he would be skeptical about the idea of Karate Kid sequel in series form with a lot of comedy elements in it. They told him their ideas but didn't inform him about the entire premise of the show, like when they talked to Zabka, because they didn't want him to turn down the whole thing if he thought the idea was bad. They told him what they wanted the show to be about, but Macchio said was much stricter with them than Zabka and asked a lot of questions to make sure they were serious and qualified. After some talks, Macchio decided that they were huge fans of the original Karate Kid series and just wanted to create something incredible and really wanted to do this show justice. So he was on board with the idea and ended up joining the show as well. And that concludes today's video about Cobra Kai, actors who were almost not cast in the show. Could you imagine Cobra Kai without any of these iconic actors? Thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoy what you saw, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to turn on post notifications so you can be the first to hear about my next video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.